Okay, we're gonna solve equations involving internal angles of regular polygons or normal polygons as well. What we need to know at this point is that the sum of the angles of polygons changes depending on the number of sides they have. So if you have a polygon with, let's say, 3 sides, then you're gonna get a sum of 180 if you add all of the internal angles. But if you have 4 sides, it's going to change to another sum, 360. If it has 5 sides, it's going to be 540. And if it has 6 sides, it's going to have 720. If it has more than 6 sides, you should use a formula for calculating the sum of the internal angles, which we should have seen before. Now, we're going to use also two ideas. The idea of a linear pair, which is a pair of angles that will give you 180. So for example, if we have two angles in here, this one, and the first one measures 60 degrees, how do you find the other one? Well, you subtract 180 minus the one you already know, and that will give you the answer of the next one. If this one is 135, for example, then you subtract 180 minus 135, and that will give you 45 for the other angle. What happens if you don't have a number, but you have a letter? Same thing. You subtract 180 minus that thing that you already know, which is x. So the answer for this thing will be 180 minus x, because you cannot subtract those things. It will stay like that. Okay. Now, what happens if you don't have a line, but you have instead a circle? Well, the same idea, only that this would not be a linear pair. This will be two angles around a point. So in this case, you would have to do the same process, but not with 180, because you no longer have a line. It will be with 360 because you have a circle. So if this angle, for example, measures 150, how do you find the red angle? Well, you subtract 360 minus that number, 150, and that will give you the answer for this angle. Those are the ideas we're going to use. So let's try to solve some exercises. Remember the sums, okay? 180, 360, 540, 720, depending on the number of sides. So let's see this exercise. It says find the value of x. Okay, we have the internal angles in here. How many angles? 4. How many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So if we have 4 sides, the sum of the internal angles is going to be 360. So let's add them. Let's start with this one. That one will be 90 plus, now this one, 3x minus 10. Now this one, plus 4x plus 30. Now this one, plus 3x, equals 360. Okay? Why? Because we have a figure that has 4 sides. If it has 4 sides, then the sum of the internal angles is going to be 360. What do we do next? Well, we're gonna, since we have a lot of things in here, like way too many things in here, what we're gonna do first is we're gonna add or subtract all of the things that are alike. So we're gonna start with the letters. We have 3x, 4x, and 3x. If you add those things, what would you get? Well, 3x plus 4x will be 7x. 7x plus 3x will be 10x. You can use your calculator if you want for this and avoid doing more steps. So what are we going to do next after adding the letters? We're going to add now the numbers. The numbers that are at the left side of equal. So it will be 90 minus 10 plus 30. What about the 360? No, we're not going to add that one because that one is on the other side of equal. It has nothing to do with these ones. So 90 minus 10 plus 30. What will be the answer for that? The answer for that will be 110. Equals, now I'm going to copy 360. What do we do next? Well, we pass the 110 to the other side to subtract. This is now a normal linear equation, so 10x equals 360 minus 110. Why minus? Because it was positive. If you move it, it will be negative. We subtract, so 10x equals 360 minus 110, that will be 250. I pass to divide the 10, so that will be x equals 250 divided by 10, and 250 divided by 10 will be 25. X equals 25. That will be the answer for exercise number 1. So the idea in here is we add every angle of the drawing, and that should be equal to what the sum of the polygon is. That depends on the number of sides. Since we had 4 sides in here, this measures 360. Let's do another exercise. So how many sides we have in here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. Okay, if we have 5 sides, it's not 360. The sum of the internal angles would be 540. So let's start adding the angles. We're going to start with this one, which is 90 degrees. Remember, this square means 90 degrees. Plus this one, plus this one, plus this one, plus this one. Okay? So let's go. It will be 90 plus 6x plus 15 plus 3x plus 35 plus 5x plus 8x minus 40 equals 540. Why? Because it has 5 sides. Remember, it is a figure of 5 sides, so the sum, or adding all of the internal angles, will give you 540. Now, again, we have a lot of things in here, so what are we going to do? Okay, we need to make sure that we have less things in here. How? By adding or subtracting. We're going to start with the letters. We have 6x plus 3x plus 5x plus 8x. If we add all of that, the answer will be 22x. After that, we're going to go with the numbers. 90 positive plus 15 plus 35 minus 40. Those are all of the numbers on the left side of equal. We are not going to add 540. No, because that is after the equal. So no, we're just going to add the ones before equal. So 90 plus 15 plus 35 minus 40. That would give me positive 100. Equals, and now I'm going to copy 540. What do I do here next? Well, you should know we just move things, right? So we pass the 100 to subtract 540. It will be 22x equals 540 minus 100. Now we will get 22x equals 540 minus 100 will be 440. After that, we pass the 22 to divide, so it will be 440 divided by 22. That should give you x equals, dividing is 20. And that is the answer for this exercise. You see, you just add the internal angles, you put equal, and then based on the number of sides, you know whether you're going to put 180, 180, or 360, or 540, or 720. Let's see now another exercise. Okay, we have this thing. Okay, what is new in here? We have angles outside of the drawing. Okay, this is a problem. I need angles inside of the drawing. So how am I going to fix this? Simple, I'm going to use the rule of linear pair that I showed at the beginning. We have one angle in here and we have the blue angle in here. How do you find the blue angle? Well, 180 minus this one. So 180 minus 105 is going to give you 75 degrees. And what happens if you have x outside? Okay, so this one will be 180 minus x, and there you go. Now I have all of the angles inside. Those are the ones I am going to use. How many sides does this drawing has? Okay, this drawing has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 sides. That means 360 would be the sum of the internal angles. So let's add all of the internal angles. The internal, not external, the internal angles. This will be 75 plus x minus 35 plus 6x minus 700 plus 180 minus x equals 360. Why 360? Because the figure has 4 sides. And quadrilaterals, their sum of the internal angles is 360. Now, we have a lot of numbers and letters in here. We need to reduce that amount. How? Okay, we're going to focus on adding or subtracting the letters. We have 1x plus 6x minus 1x. 1 plus 6 minus 1 will be 6. I copy the letter. Now I'm going to work with the numbers. 75 minus 35 minus 700 plus 180. I am not going to use 360 because it is after the equal. I'm only working with the numbers before equal. So 75 minus 35 minus 700 plus 180. That should give me negative 480 equals 360. I'm going to copy it. Now this, again, it becomes a very simple linear equation. All I need to do is move things. I'm going to leave 6x in here, letters on the left, then equal. I'm going to write the 360, what that was already there, and this negative 480, okay, this negative 480, I'm going to pass it. It's going to change from negative to positive 480. So I just need to add those things. 6x equals 360 plus 480 would give me 840. I pass the number 6 to divide, and after dividing, I would get x equals 140. And that is the answer for this exercise. Remember, I'm finding the value of the letter x only. Let's do another exercise. Number 4. Okay. We have we have two angles outside. We have this one and we have this one. Okay, now this 30, notice that this 30 creates a line with this one, so I'm going to use the idea of linear pair. I'm going to subtract 180 minus 30, and that will give me the angle inside. So 180 minus 30 would be 150. That's the measure for the angle inside. Now what about this one? There is no line in here. What I'm getting in here for the internal angle is the completion of a circle. Okay. So I have a circle in here. So to find the angle inside, the blue one, I would have to subtract not 180, I would have to subtract 360 minus 110. And that will give me 250. That would be the measure of the other internal angles. Okay. Now what am I going to do next? Well, I'm going to add each internal angle, and the sum of all of them should give me equal to what? It depends on the number of sides. How many sides does this figure have? This figure has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. That means the sum should be equal to 720. So let's write the sum. Let's start with 65 and then go to 250. Okay? So we need to work in order. 65 plus 250. If I am going in this direction, that means next is going to be 2x minus 20. So plus 2x minus 20 plus 110 plus 150 plus 3x minus 10. And that will be equal to 720. Okay? Now what we are going to do is, since we have a lot of things on the left side, we need to simplify like terms to make things shorter. I'm going to start with the letters. I have 2x plus 3x. 2x plus 3x would give me 5x. Now the numbers. 65 plus 250 minus 20 plus 110 plus 150 minus 10. I am not going to use 720 because that is after the equal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 6 numbers I am going to add and subtract with them. 65 plus 250 minus 20 plus 110 plus 150 minus 10. If I do this operation, the answer will be positive 545. After I get the answers for this, I just copy equals 720. And now again, I get a very simple equation. I just pass 545 to subtract, so it will be 720 minus 545. That, if I subtract it, is going to give me 175. Then I'm going to pass the 5 to divide. I will get x equals 175 divided by 5. And that division would give me an answer of x equals 35. And that will be the answer for this exercise in particular. That is how we solve equations with internal angles of polygons.